Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to paint sunflowers, only instead of my usual palette, I've chosen some very bright colours that I got from Michael's, and I'm going to try and paint sunflowers using only those colours. Maybe a couple of colours that I would usually use, like the primary yellow and the raw sienna, but the rest of the colours, and the French ultramarine blue, but the rest of the colours are all new ones, new to me at any rate. So this is a bit of an experiment for me. This is my normal palette. I can mix pretty much whatever I want with these colours, with this set, and I'm very comfortable with it. Here are the colours I'm painting with today. I won't bother to name them all, but I bought warm colours and cool colours and separated them according to the colour wheel, which divides a line between the yellows and reds and the blues and greens and purples. And that green, to me, I would have put on the warm colour if it hadn't been for that colour chart which had that exact green on it. I also added titanium white. Titanium white makes things opaque, and it's very handy when you're doing things like sunflowers, because primary yellow is actually quite transparent. I painted a background on the 9x12 canvas panel using French ultramarine blue, primary yellow and raw sienna, and then mixed in titanium white to give me a softer colour. I used a powder brush which I got from the dollar store to smooth over the whole thing. And I just used crisscross strokes to do that. Sometimes I use circular strokes, but it gives me a nice soft background to paint against. I used a large round brush and mixed titanium white with primary yellow, and I'm going to put in the petals. I think they're actually called rays, and I think a sunflower is actually called a head because it's a combination of many flowers. The center is like 1,000 little tiny florets, but anyway, I won't go into details on that. It was beyond me. And I'm just painting in the petals, and then I will paint the center in. I let the brush do the work, and I pull the petals in from the outer edge into the center, and that gives me a good petal shape. Like I said, they're called rays, and I use a sideways swipe for those tops of the petals that we don't see the entire petal. At this point, I'm just doing a rough sketch, and maybe these flowers won't be in this shape at the end of the painting. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll look a little bit different to how they're looking now. This is very rough. Normally I would use raw umber for the center of the sunflowers, but I haven't got that on my palette. I'm only using these new colors that I found, and so I'm using purple, but the purple is rather transparent, so I'm going to add other colors on anyway. We'll see how it goes. I might have to mix the purple with a red or something to give me the darkness that I need. And I'm using that lovely vibrant orange on there to give me some highlight. But this is early stages, and perhaps this will all be very different by the end of the painting, modified by the other colors that I will put on. I've got to say I really enjoy the experiment so far. It's so different for me to use these very vibrant colors. It's just not my usual style of painting at all. I mix French ultramarine blue and primary yellow to give me a dark green for the leaves. And I don't try for anything special. I don't try to copy sunflower leaves or rose leaves, whatever I'm painting. I just go for a leaf shape and leave it at that. I always pull the leaf in from the outer edge in toward the center vein that they all have. And I end up with a leaf looking shape, and I'm happy with that. I also should say that I like to work in odd numbers, so I've got 3 sunflowers and I'll have an odd number of leaves too. And there's probably a reason why that looks good in a painting. I always say that it charms the eye, and I'm sticking with that. There could be a real reason for it. Some artist would be able to tell you, could find that. You could Google it, couldn't you? Probably. But I just say it charms the eye. I'm going to use this old bristle fan brush to put in some scrubby stuff at the bottom. I'm pretending these sunflowers are still in the field, and there might be other stuff growing up from underneath. And I find the fan brush is a very good way to do this. You can use it flat and use quite short strokes, or you can turn it on its edge and get quite tall standing shrubs. And that's the way I do it anyway, and I'm always pleased with the results of that, and it's quick too. I'm mixing 2 shades of yellow, one with primary yellow and titanium white, and one with raw sienna and titanium white. And everything on the shadow side will be with the raw sienna, and on the brighter side will be with the primary yellow, but I might add a highlight even to that side later on. We'll see how it goes. And I'm sort of pretending that the light is coming from the right. I'm actually painting in front of a window, and I've got really good daylight, so I don't even turn an artificial light on. But in this painting, I've decided that the light is coming from the right. And mostly it works out quite well, I find, if you make that decision fairly early on in the painting. I'm not sure how many layers of petals sunflowers have, or rays, whatever they call them, but I paint as many as I need, and that can be as few as 1 or maybe 2 or 3 each over the top. You can do that when you're painting with acrylics or water mixable oils, which I also like to paint with. I'm using acrylics in this case, of course, and I think I get a pretty good sunflower at the end, and it doesn't seem to matter if I've got layers of petals. I'm using the yellow that's on my brush to add a highlight to the stems. My stems are usually alizarin crimson, quite often alizarin crimson, or maybe French ultramarine blue, and then I always put a highlight on there, not over the entire stem, just a little patch here and there, just where I think the light might catch the stem. I think I better imagine these sunflowers in a cottage garden, because I'm putting a lot of weedy stuff underneath them, and perhaps in a field where they're growing for the seed, they're weed free. I don't know anything about that, so we'll say these are in a cottage garden. I'm putting a highlight on the leaves, just the ones where I think the sun catches them, and I think I've mixed it too. I don't think I've used that light green so far. Now I'm using that very pale green, and it does add quite a vibrant highlight to it. I'm very pleased with these paints. I think they are fun to paint with. I'm certainly no expert at it so far. I'll have to practice a bit. But might be able to get something really fun using these paints. The orange ring in the center was a little too bright for me. I guess I'm a bit nervous about that. So I'm going to bring it down a tad and dot over a sort of mixture of what I think maybe seeds look like. I don't know what it is really, but it brings the orange down just a shade or two. I have to work up to bright orange, I think. I'm using a liner brush and the purple, and I'm going to add a shadow side to that stem. This is where I usually use alizarin crimson, raw umber, or French ultramarine blue, depending on how I feel that day. And so purple is a little bit of a stretch for me, but I think it worked quite well. The purple is complementary to yellow on the colour wheel, so I can't go far wrong with that. I do miss the raw umber somewhat. I feel that the centers are not dark enough, and I'm trying to adjust that with the purple with a touch of blue in it, just to try and make it more opaque. But I think it's looking very vibrant. I'm really pleased with them so far. I'm using a dark blue to darken the shadow side of the leaves. It's just not quite deep enough in my opinion. Well, I love these paints. I think they've made my sunflowers look very vibrant. I'm certainly going to incorporate these colours in my paintings from now on. Find places here and there where I can put in a nice vibrant green or blue. And I'll try and add a touch of orange too. I have to work up to orange. Well, I had a really lovely time painting these sunflowers. I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I did. And please like, share and subscribe if you did enjoy it. That helps my channel grow, and I'd really appreciate it if you could find time to do that. And thank you very much if you already have subscribed. It's lovely to see those numbers go up. And I'll see you next time. I'm not sure what I'm painting next, but hey, it'll be something this week or next week. So bye for now.